Hi everyone, I'm going to be starting the live on mental health in just a few moments. Just going to wait for everyone to join onto the live. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Welcome to everyone that's joining. Just give it a few more minutes and then we'll get started. Okay, so we will get started and then people can just join as we kind of go on. So today we are talking about mental health and the effects that exercise can have on it, and also about return to play and how mental health is very, very important for this. So obviously there is plenty of evidence that's out there in journals, in newspapers, magazines, everything that states that exercise can help with your mental well-being. So generally when a lot of people are diagnosed with depression, anxiety, insomnia, stuff like that, GPs themselves will recommend people to start exercising, whether it's just going for a nice little gentle walk just to kind of clear your head, or if it's going to a gym, joining an exercise group, joining a class, all that kind of stuff. So it is being given to people by doctors as well. It's not just everyone in general saying, oh, just do some exercise, it's going to help clear your mind type of thing. So there are like various things in which it is known to help improve. So in terms of mood, so study shows that physical exercise has a positive impact on our mood. There are a few studies that have asked people about their mood during exercise and post-exercise as well. So sometimes people are a bit hesitant when they first start doing some exercise, so that can make people a little bit anxious and a little bit worried about kind of what's going to go on. But as people generally start to get used to it and get into the hang of things, then it's generally proven to improve mood. So people have become a lot more happier because endorphins are kind of released as well, which we have spoken about previously. And also it just makes your body better. As you're working everything's moving, all your joints are kind of working as well. So if you've got a little bit of back pain as well, sometimes that can help to release it and relieve it. Because obviously if anyone is in pain, they're going to be in a bad mood. So generally once you start doing a little bit of physical exercise as guided by people, such as ourselves and doctors, etc., then it is proven to help increase moods. Also, it's proven to decrease stress and stress levels. This is because it helps to manage your life. So you're not just doing the same thing all the time. It will help you give a little bit of a break. So for a lot of our clients personally that I've seen that work in offices or are at the moment working from home still, I say to them, look, take a 10 to 15 minute break every 2 to 3 hours, go for a little bit of a walk, clear your mind, have a nice little break, relax yourself, and then go back. Because then what you can do in that time is process what you're doing, you can rethink what you're doing as well, and you're not just focusing on the same thing constantly. So you're giving your mind a nice little break as well. Because the worst thing to do is just keep overloading yourself again and again and again with the same sort of things. So in terms of when you are exercising, during that period, your mind isn't focused on anything else normally. For me personally, whenever I went to the gym, I just focus on what I'm doing in that session. Sometimes I do reflect on things that I kind of have done throughout that day, but I also use it as a time to kind of listen to podcasts and also listen to any like training purposes that we can do online as well, as it really, really helps you to kind of take a break, but also take information at the same time. It is also proven to help with self-esteem. Now, I know some people might say, oh, how can exercising help improve your self-esteem? Well, generally, once you get into the hang of things and you get used to things again and you start thinking, oh, I'm actually quite good at this, then generally you'll actually start to be more confident in yourself. Obviously, when you are in a gym environment, some people might feel a little bit low and might have a low self-esteem because they're looking at everyone else and thinking, oh my God, look at that person, look how big they are, or look at the exercises they're kind of doing, or look at the weight they're lifting. Like, we understand, like, you're going to have those kind of approaches to certain things, but obviously they're not going to be the best thing for you. So you've got to remember, whenever you go into a gym, you're there for you and for no one else. If you have made a little bit of a mistake or you aren't doing the right thing correctly, there are always PTs and professionals around to help you, to guide you along it. And once you are then obviously being more active and getting into a better shape, you generally will be more confident in yourself, and then you'll be happier. So then your relationship with other people in the gym and just general day-to-day might improve. So you might start going to running clubs or start going to walking clubs, or you might join in more classes at a gym. And all those things of loads of other people can help boost you and make you happier and make you feel like great and less like depressed or less anxious or slightly less sad, and are less alone as well. Because obviously with some people, they do feel quite anxious and nervous when they're on their own. So it's really, really important that if you are feeling like that, like, generally go for a walk, go to a gym, go to a sports team, go to a sports game, go for a coffee with friends, like stuff like that. All little things help, but people think, oh no, I don't want to be a bird, and I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Okay, if you don't want to do that, go for a walk, clear your mind, go for a jog. Put all your energy that you're having into that kind of that environment, into that mood, into that exercise. I know myself personally, I have had points where I've been quite low. My lowest point will probably be when I was injured. I had a very big downtime. I was very I don't want to play anymore, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I'm never going to play the same again, all that kind of stuff. And for me, that was probably one of my biggest things. And also lockdown as well, it set me back quite a lot. And I think because I had always been in sports teams and I'd always had a great environment around me, I was able to kind of snap myself out of it after a while. I was don't get me wrong, I wasn't just gonna straight away, it was just gone. But as I started to get more active, started to go for more walks, started to do home workouts and stuff like that, my energy just started to boost and boost and boost. And okay, yes, I was still a little bit lonely because of lockdown, I was on my own. But I did start to feel happier because I was oh, okay, I can't do this, but I can still look after myself. I can make sure that I am my priority. I was eating better, I was being more active, so I was losing a little bit more weight, weight or fat, and I was gaining muscle mass. So I was happier in terms of the way I looked, so that made me happier in terms of what I was doing and in terms of my mental health as well. Because being stuck inside four walls is a very it's not the best thing. It's probably one of the worst things to do. And with that, people tend to overthink. So getting out of that environment and getting out of that space is what will help you the most. Because if you're always staying in that same area, so say if you're working in the same office all the time, you're just going to be stressed about that place, you're going to be annoyed, you're going to be tired, you're going to be stressed, you're going to be oh, all I ever do is see these four same brick walls or stuff like that. Whereas if you go out and get yourself into an environment, you can look at things. So if the weather's nice, you can go to a park, there's going to probably be a few ducks or something, or there'll be loads of kids that are playing that are really, really happy, and them being happy and smiling and enjoying themselves would be to you, oh, great, I can be the same, and I was the same when I was a child. You can think, oh, when I was younger, I used to do all this all the time with all my friends and I had so much fun. So then it starts to bring back positive memories for you. So then as you're then walking along, you're thinking about stuff like that, and then it's clearing your head and taking your mind off everything else. Yes, it can also bring back a few slightly bad memories, but then you can always think, but look at the positives, look at where you are, look at who you are now, type thing. So it's really, really important that you do look after yourself and focus on yourself and make sure that you are staying healthy and improving everything you can, because we said, endorphins are released when you are exercising. Endorphins make you happier generally, so the better you kind of do it, the more you kind of do it, the better it is for you. So obviously we said that we were going to focus a little bit on return to play, which I think I'm probably going to focus on a little bit more. This doesn't have to necessarily be return to playing as an athlete. This can be returning from an injury as well. And this is probably one of the biggest things as a therapist we kind of see with anyone, regardless of what their injury is. They're very, very hesitant to go back into physical exercise they were doing. So I've got a few clients that won't do deadlifts because they're very, very scared of hurting their back again and stuff like that. So for us, we're not just coaching the correct technique, but we're also teaching them that it is okay. You might still have a pain less than a 5, which is fine. We have good and we have bad pain. So anything up to a 5 out of 10, we kind of say is an okay pain. We're not saying it's good pain, but like it's a pain that we can work with. Anything above a 7 to 8 to 10 is a bad pain that we will be causing more damage in. So what we always say is rehab's not pain-free. It never will be pain-free. As much as we'd love to say it is, nothing in life comes free. So what we always say is in terms of like pains and stuff like that is you're going to have pains that reciprocate in different ways. So you're going to have pain after you go to a gym because you're going to have DOMS, which is delayed onset of muscle soreness, which means you've had a good workout. Whereas pain when you're actually doing the exercise, say in your back when doing deadlifts, means you're doing the wrong technique. So what we always say is you're going to have a learning curve and you're going to have steps to get to each point. So for us, we generally do about 6 to 12 weeks of like certain rehab programs, depending on injuries. I have had a few that are slightly longer just because they're more severe in terms of injuries and stuff like that. But our focus is not just on the physical aspect, it's making sure our clients are okay and they are our priority. As we never know what a client's coming in with, we never know what issues they have at home. Whether or not they trust to confide in us is something different, but I've had a few clients that have PTSD. I've never asked them the details, don't want to, that's their personal business. But obviously that sometimes has impacted them in certain things that they are doing in terms of asking for help, in terms of reaching out, in terms of going to group type activities. So what we do is just coach them and say, look, if you do this sort of stuff, this kind of exercises, you'll be more active, you'll be happier, you'll have more endorphins, you'll have all of this. Whereas if you don't either sort your injury or you don't look after yourself, then these issues are going to start happening or this is going to get worse. So for lower back pain, the worst thing to do for most people is just sit there and do nothing, which quite a lot of people do. So what we always say is get up, have a little bit of a walk around. We're not telling you to go run a mile or go run a marathon or lift really heavy weights. Just going for a nice little gentle walk can help to reduce that pain. And again, at the same time, then you're going to be in less pain, you'll be more happy. So in terms of return to play itself, I had to go through it, and I've had a lot of athletes that have had to go through it as well, as I was quite lucky to actually go away and work in Spain. So with that, I was working in a basketball academy and I was working and living with the children. So I wasn't just looking after them in terms of everything on and off the court, in terms of rehabilitation. I was also making sure that they were comfortable and like happy at home, because obviously a lot of them were away from their families. So a lot of them started to get quite sad, quite lonely, and a few of them got very, very homesick. So in that aspect, we had to not only like help them and make sure physically they were there and ready and prepared for every game, but we had to make sure mentally they were prepared as well, because if someone is not 100% going into a game or coming back from an injury, they're not going to do very well, and then that's when injuries kind of happen. So for us, return to play is very, very important, because we do it to make sure that you are fully prepared to go back to that sport. We don't want to rush you along, or rush you along to that activity, or rush you along to that exercise that you're doing, or like way of life, or going back to the gym. We want to make sure that you're taking it step by step and you are prepared in all aspects. So obviously mentally, physically, and overall as well. So what I always say is you have to give as much to us as we give to you. So I always say to my clients, look, we have this app, you can talk to us on there. We can go through, if you're not comfortable with an exercise, we can go through it, we can talk through with it. Same thing when you're going for a jog. I always say, if you're not sure and you're not comfortable with doing the same exercise for the same amount of period, then do it less. So instead of saying going for a half an hour run, go for a 15 minutes run. See how you feel with that. If you're anxious about re-hurting yourself or anxious about something going wrong, then just decrease everything that you're doing. And the same thing with weight is start low and then build yourself up gradually. There's nothing wrong with starting from the very bottom in the gym and working your way back up. Because it's your body, it's what you can do. Don't push it to limits that you don't think you can get there to. So with return to play, it's always really important that we make sure that you are 100% confident. So for me, I had an athlete who I had a meniscal tear with. So what I had to do is build him from the very, very, very beginning. So I had to correct his gait. I had to build up his strength. And then I had to, obviously, when he was playing basketball, I then had to get him back the whole way up to playing and competing. So every month we reassessed him, we went through everything and we kind of helped look after him. And it got to the point where he was fully cleared by me to go and play. He was fine, like no issues, no pain, no nothing. He was stronger, bigger and best than what he was before. But mentally he wasn't there. He was very, very scared to go onto that court, to be like, oh, if someone pushes me or something, I'm going to fall and hurt myself. And I said to him, I was like, we've gone through all of these steps. We've measured you with your jump, with your power, speed, everything, reaction time, everything, and all of your scores are better than what they were before you were even injured. So it's stuff like that we use as cues to say, okay, this is where you were before your injury, but this is where you are now. So sometimes it's going to take a lot longer to get to that point of you being better than what you were before you were injured, but you will get there 9 times out of 10. Obviously, depending on the severity of your injury, because some injuries, unfortunately, you're still going to have permanent, semi-permanent issues or problems later on down the line, but we'll get you to a point that you're either comfortable or better and able to manage them as well. Because the most important thing is that you know how to manage your own injury as well. It's not just always come and see us and do like bits and bobs. We want to make sure that you know what to do when you're at home, so you are looking after yourself. And if you do have any questions, obviously you still have us to come back to and still have us to work with. But obviously the more confident you feel in yourself with doing things, the better you feel, and the less anxious you feel and the less sad you feel, and the more like happier you are going to be, because like, I can do this and I know I can do this. So with that, it took me 2.5 weeks to kind of get him back into playing. So I had to start off very, very small, just doing him taking contact from a pad. And then I brought in a player every single time to kind of increase it. And then I was like, okay, look, you're ready. Physically, you are there. I need you to be 100% mentally there with me, telling me that you can play and you can do this. I don't want you to go onto that court and be sad. I don't want you to be anxious. I don't want you to be scared. I want you to know that you are 100% ready. I have 100% faith in you, and so does all of the team. I want you to do the best you can do. There is no problem with not scoring. There's no problem with not making a block, not making a pass, not doing this, not doing that. But I said to him, if you are not confident in yourself and you do not have faith in your knee or confidence in your knee that it is strong enough, then that's when your injury is going to happen again. Because mentally, you're in control of everything. So if you're mentally not there, your body is not going to be there with you at the same time. So it's really, really important that you're on the same wavelength with both of them. So you need to be there 100% physically and 100% mentally, or you can be slightly less at each level, but generally you don't want to be 50-50 ever. You want to make sure that you're 100% of both of them, so you're confident and you're there and you're happy. So after we got there in the end, he had the best game of his life. He was so happy. Like, he came off and he was just like, oh my God, I did it. He was like, I was just like, Timothy, that's all you had to do. And he has now gone on and he's doing really, really well. And he's like, he's not as good as what he was in terms of certain things, so his shooting went down a little bit, but in terms of his physicality, he's a lot better, and now he's growing and getting better. And for us, it's little wins like that make us happy, because it's like, it wasn't just me being there for the whole rehab process, it was me being there for his mental aspect as well, and making sure that he was happy and he was stable and he knew what he wanted and he was going to get that goal, and that he was fully de-stressed and just better in his mood, because confidence is really, really important. If you're not confident enough to do something, you're never going to do it. And that's why it's like you've got to sometimes get out of your comfort zone and do something and get up and get out. So obviously with different people, you're going to have different goals, different ambitions, different types of exercises that you'll want to do. So in terms of us with clients we have in the clinic, some people just want to have the smallest little things of, oh, okay, I want to be able to go and play with my kids, or I want to be able to go for a run, or I want to be able to run this marathon, or I just want to be more confident in myself and get back into classes, or just get out there and do things. So every time we do an exercise, we always make sure that someone's comfortable and they are confident. And it's like, for me with my clients, with a lot of them, we have like a few jokes, like laughs and all that kind of stuff, because I want to make sessions fun and exciting. Because if you come to me and you've got an injury and then the session's quite boring and you don't like it, you're not going to be 100% into that session with me mentally, and you won't be there physically either. So one of the most important things to me and other therapists as well is making sure that you are having fun, you feel like you're learning something at the same time, you feel like you're engaged and you're getting better as well. Because obviously, like we said before, if you are in pain, it's going to decrease your mood. But obviously, like we said, the more you relieve that stress, relieve that anxiety, relieve that bad mood and bad outset, the more happier and positive you'll be, the more effective your rehab will be, the more effective that session will be, and the more effective your recovery will be from that injury. So for us, it's really, really important that you are mentally there and you are 100% happier with how you are doing. Because obviously anything can be a setback, and in terms of mentality, that is the biggest setback that we do have. Yes, there will be certain points in rehab that we do have little plateaus, but it's your outlook at that point when you have that plateau as to whether you're going to drop back down and get worse, or whether you're going to be like, okay, we've hit this little block, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to go there, we're going to get that, we're going to reach this goal. And it's setting goals that will help you improve everything. Because if you're going with the mindset of, oh, I'm just going to do this just so I can get better at this, or do this just so I'm pain free, it's like, okay, but there's more than just pain that might be going on with you. There's more than just this. You might be restricted in movement. You might not have been able to do certain things and certain tasks. So say if you have children and you're not able to like lift them up or play with them on the soft playgrounds, or go to like trampoline parks, go on roller coasters, all that kind of stuff, because you're in pain, what we want to do is then say, okay, well, you might not be pain free for the very beginning, but what we can do is help make you reduce some of the pain, get you more flexible, have more range of movement, have more strength. Because the stronger you are physically in terms of your muscles and your joints and your surrounding structures, then the stronger that area is going to be, and the better you will be and the stronger you will feel. So what we then want to do is then obviously work with all of that and then say, okay, let's focus on this and focus on that. Because if you only focus on one thing every time, then if that goal is not reached, then you're going to be upset, disappointed and stuff like that. So we always look at several goals and several different things and say, okay, we want to improve range, we want to improve flexibility, we want to improve strength, we want to improve proprioception, we want to improve your functional skills in certain sports or activities that you're doing, and make this easier for you, make that easier for you. Whereas if you've only got the one goal of, oh, okay, I just want to be completely pain-free, then realistically what someone can do is just give you painkillers, unfortunately, and then the issue is not going to go away. It's just going to be hidden, and it's still going to be there, and it's still going to get worse. So then again, your mood's going to get worse again. You're going to get more depressed, more anxious, going to get more stressed. So what we always say is set different goals for different levels and different parts, and then once you've achieved that goal, you're going to be happy because you're like, oh my god, look, I've done that. I couldn't do that before, but I can do it now. oh, I wasn't able to climb that many stairs, or I wasn't able to go for a walk in that area because of that distance, or I wasn't able to lift this amount of weight, or I wasn't able to lift this many shopping bags, or I wasn't able to go on like longer walks with the girls, or go play football with the lads, all that kind of thing, or even go and play golf. Like, there's many different things that you can set your goals to and know your limitations for. But it's making sure that you're comfortable with everything that you are doing. It's easy for everyone to say, don't look at someone else in the gym and don't look at what someone else is doing. And it is very, very hard. But you've always got to remember, you are your number one, you are your priority. And when you are returning from injury, it doesn't make a difference how long it takes you and what route you take. It is about whether you feel comfortable with what you're doing and that you are there 100%. Because any slight discrepancy you have, or any bad vibes or bad attitude towards anything that you have, is going to set you back every single step of the way. So it's really, really important that you go in with open experiences, you go in with a positive mind. You're like, okay, I'm started here, I want to be there, then I want to get to there, to there, to there, to there. So it's like, set yourself goals, set yourself levels, set yourself little rewards throughout the system or the little process, and see kind of what happens for you. Because obviously mental health is a big, big thing. Unfortunately, there are still many suicides and stuff like that in sport and in the world itself, which are public and also private as well, that aren't out there and that we don't know about. So obviously it's always great to kind of be in an atmosphere, in an environment like sport, or like going for walking clubs and golf and just going for a walk normally on your own, that will help you and that will give you like your free space and your own time and your own mind. And normally it can just take your mind off that, what's going on at home or what's going on at work or what's just going on in general. Like, exercise is a form of relief, it's a way out, and it's, for me, it was probably the only reason why I didn't suffer when I was younger and stuff like that, because I channeled everything that I had into sport, and it made me better and it's made me who I am. And it's like, I love what I do, I love sports. Yes, okay, I'm not playing at the moment, which still does annoy me a little bit, but I have my own mental block in terms of why I don't want to go to sport. And now my biggest goal for this year is doing my full rehab, but in terms of functional movement. So get me back jumping more, get me back running, cycling, all that kind of stuff. So I know that my body is there. So then once I know my body's there, then I can mentally make sure that I'm there as well. Because like I said, if you have any setbacks and any what's the word? It's gone from my head. Oh my God, it's really gone. Any blocks or distractions, then you're not going to be 100%. So I know for me right now, I'm not there mentally to go back and play sport. But I know in a few months, once I know that I've reached my peak fitness goals and I've found a good team, I found a good club, that I am going to be there and I'm going to be 100%, because I'm then going to mentally be like, okay, look, this is what you had to do before you got there. The last step is just getting on that court or going back to that training session and getting back into doing what you loved. And if it's something you've not done before, then it's going to be a complete new experience for you that literally could make you find your best friends, or like friends for the rest of your life, or just get you out socialising and being more talkative. So for me, I know that I need to get there and that I will get there. It's just at the moment I know that I'm not ready, so it's kind of keeping me behind. But it was a very big thing when I was at university. I was quite naive. I just kept kind of ignoring all the signs and stuff like that, and I was just like, no, I'm fine, like, because obviously I wasn't doing much because I couldn't I could still do my job and everything like that, but in terms of like playing and stuff like that, it was my game and everything just started to really, really decrease. So then I got to the point where I just got fed up and kind of walked off court. And obviously for me, with my team, that had quite a big thing, because I was just like, I'm just not here. I'm not 100%. And I realised, I was like, I need to stop what I'm doing and I need to sort myself out and mentally prepare myself and get back into the game and be like, okay, I'm not happy with how I am right now, but okay, I'm happy with how my team's playing. So then I could be more supportive for them, but then also still work on myself at the same time. And it's like, okay, I wasn't playing, but I was still there and still helping. I was still coaching and giving advice, and girls were still asking me for advice and stuff like that. So in that aspect, it worked, and it was good. But obviously there are loads of papers and especially magazine articles and things on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. There's loads of things about mental health, and it's like, it's such a taboo subject for some people as well. But your mental health is the most important thing out of everything. Yes, because if you're mentally not there, your body is going to just not be there with you, because if you're depressed and you're anxious and you're tired and you're stressed, some people end up not eating enough, or some people end up eating too much. People are lower on energy, people don't feel happy, they don't want to go out, they don't want to do things. You become quite inside, and with that then obviously your body will start to shut down itself. So it's like, okay, how can I start picking that up? How can I make myself happier? How can I gain weight? How can I lose weight? How can I have more fun with this? How can I do this? How can I do that? How can I get myself walking more? How can I be more flexible? How can I do all of this stuff? And it's like, just take a break, relax, put everything together and say, okay, my goal is to lose weight, I'm going to do this to lose that. My goal is to gain weight / muscle mass, I'm going to do this. My goal is to be happier, okay, let's see what clubs are out there, let's see what groups are out there, all that kind of stuff. It's like putting yourself out there and making it like a wider view. And it's like, you've got to remember that you're never on your own. There is always someone out there to talk to, and that's why with sports teams and stuff like that, they are really, really great for things like mental health, and there's loads of mental health campaigns that are out there as well. But obviously for us, in terms of returning to play, it is a very, very big thing, because we want to make sure that you aren't just physically, but you are mentally there as well. So if you have any questions, or you have any kind of experiences that you have experienced yourself, and you kind of want some advice on, okay, where do I kind of go from here? I want to set this goal, where do I kind of go, and stuff like that, then drop us messages, let us know. And what I will do is put on a few journal articles and connect them to the Facebook Live afterwards to watch on a recap, and then you can kind of read through that as well. And then I'll also put up a few from like a few magazines and stuff like that people have kind of put out there about different techniques and stuff in which you can use to help reduce stress levels and anxiety, depression, all that kind of stuff. But obviously the main thing is mental health and sport go 2 and 2 together. So it's really important that you are both there physically and mentally all the time. So if anyone's got any questions, then you can ask them now. If not, you can drop us a message, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But I hope you all enjoyed the live, and enjoy the rest of your evening. So I'll just wait a few minutes, see if anyone wants to ask questions, and then we will finish. Okay, so I don't think anyone's going to ask any questions. So like we said, just drop us a message as a comment underneath here, or drop it to Jodie or myself on our Facebook, and then we'll get back to you on our pages for you. And then also we'll have a little recap of this put up as well. So enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you all soon.